All right. So did everybody? Where did I put them? Did everybody get the meeting minutes for the June meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did anybody have any
No
changes to
comments?
make? No, I thought it was a very
I'll make a
straightforward.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve the June 12th, 2014 minutes.
All right, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, minutes approved for May. And now it's 7 o'clock, so we can move on. So we always have a part of our meeting that's like the public comment, public speak. This isn't, if you're here for what's actually on our agenda, this isn't when you speak, but it's just a time for, like, if people have come. I don't know, nobody's ever come for this really. So, all right, moving on. We have the public hearing for Mark Gilman of 28 Phelps Street, seeking a special permit for a home occupation for a transportation business. And
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And then we've got some other folks here. Are you here to, like, respond to this application?
Yes, we're neighbors. We want to know more about
Oh.
the information.
Perfect. Then I will let you maybe do a summary. We've all read your application, but since these fine folks don't know what you're asking for, maybe you could just sort of summarize your application.
Okay. I'm essentially going to be running a transportation business out of the residence. It's basically going to be my own personal vehicle. And I'll be a vendor for Mass Health.
Mhm.
Transportation is available to Medicaid recipients deemed eligible by Mass Health. And they would dispatch someone like me, a vendor, if my bid gets approved, to clients' homes and bring them and transport them to and from doctor's appointments.
Mhm.
So this would be run out of my personal vehicle. It wouldn't be some big van or even a truck or anything like
Mhm.
that. It would just be, the biggest vehicle would probably be is like maybe a caravan
Mhm.
or something like that. And it would be run during regular business hours, and there wouldn't be anybody coming in and out of the house. I would be going to and from
Mhm.
the client's residences, so.
And you did mention in your application that at a future date you might want to have up to one employee. Is your vision that a vehicle would be kept for that employee and the employee would be coming to your residence, or that the employee would have their own vehicle, keep it at their residence, and just, you know, on the cell phone, like,
Exactly.
go here now?
Yeah, if I did end up having an employee that did do the driving, we would certainly probably leave it at their residence,
Mhm.
so.
So basically, you might be going in and out of your driveway more often. That would be the impact on your neighborhood. You'd be going in and out of your driveway possibly more often because you're working out of your home.
Sure,
But that's it.
yeah.
Probably, though, if the business goes the way he wants, he's not going to be getting all the way back to his house in the middle of the day.
Right. But it's
Right, you could dispatch
Well, those well.
some other location.
Yeah, what they would do is they would give me print me out a manifest the day before to let me know the schedule and who I would be picking up throughout the day. So I probably wouldn't even be getting back to the residence until the end of the day. So.
So your hours, you're anticipating to be somewhere between like 8 and 5?
Well, actually, the earliest, from what I've heard, I don't really know,
Mhm.
but maybe the earliest I would be leaving the house would probably be 5:30, 6 a.m. and no later than,
Because you'd have to drive to the other residence to pick
and then
pick
get
up the
them to
person.
an appointment.
And some appointments are at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
blood drawing.
Okay.
The
So this
hospital.
I wouldn't be working late hours or really, really early morning hours or anything
Mhm.
like that. The only advertisement I really would have is maybe some sort of, I don't know, magnet on the side of the
Right.
vehicle that I could take on and off, because it would be my personal vehicle that I would be
Mhm.
using.
Okay, that was my concern. The personal vehicle that said in there would be parked in the driveway or the garage. But then I'm saying, okay, where's the business vehicle going to be?
Yeah.
You know, that was my concern also, because our street is narrow, and some people do park on the street, and sometimes if you've got a car parked on both sides, you can
I've
barely
lived on a
get
street
through.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just
And-
state your name for the record?
Betty Sanderson.
And your address?
34 Phelps.
Thank you.
And that was, I mean, I admire you starting your own business, and I think the elderly need this type of thing, would you be dealing mainly in Hampshire County or a smaller district? I mean, East Hampton needs it badly. The senior center is screaming for help.
It's basically Pioneer Valley. I would be available to wherever they decided to dispatch me throughout the valley. So I would like to stay as local as possible to limit the mileage I put on the vehicle. But I mean, that all depends on the broker and where they decide to send me.
Now, would you be similar to like Holmes Transportation? Are you aware of them?
I'm
They're a
not familiar.
private entity similar to you. And I used to work at Western Mass Hospital, and we used to use them to transport patients for different tests and procedures and doctor's appointments.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Holmes is more like they're wheelchair accessible. And I doubt he'll be taking wheelchair clients.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
That's a different type of service. I think they're all technically ambulatory services, but the one I am doing, according to the information that I got, is considered dial-a-ride. So
Okay.
these clients would let the broker know that they need to be picked up at this date at this time, and then the broker would dispatch me to their residence, and pick them up and bring them to their appointments.
Okay. So it's mainly through public health then?
Yeah, it's through Medicaid, through Mass Health.
Yes.
Through all-
So it's like income source, like, because we don't have the best public transit around here.
We don't.
This is like the stopgap.
I'm getting old and stuff, I call you.
Believe me, I live around the corner, I might need it too.
Any other questions or comments, or should we?
Yes.
Can you
And
state your,
if you can
Yeah.
state your name for the record
My
and
name
your
is
address.
Don Schott. I live at 51 Kenneth Road. I'm not familiar with this young man. My question would be if you rezone his property. for
Oh,
this-
we wouldn't be rezoning.
Okay, what is this?
Yes, so in the zoning ordinance, there's a specific section that allows us to issue special permits for home occupations. It's section 10.4, so it's already part of the zoning ordinance, and it's for R5, R10, R15, R35, and R40, and also R80, and neighborhood business.
Okay, then my question would
It's
be,
like all the districts, pretty much.
that when, let's say he decided to move in a year, his
Mhm.
permit would expire with his moving?
Yeah,
Somebody else
special,
couldn't come in and
No.
start a business?
no, well,
It
so
goes with the,
it's with the land, but it's gonna be specific to his business. So unless someone's moving to his house and taking over his business, they would not be able to use that permit.
It would have to be that business. They couldn't start a bar, they couldn't open a
No.
salon.
no, and the
no,
home
no, no.
occupation, I mean, could they even, like, take his business and still use the same special, like, wouldn't they have to come get their own special permit?
no, it goes with the land, but it would have to be the same business.
Right, the exact same, like.
Exact same
yeah.
business working with Medicaid patients because
Right.
that's how he represented.
Right.
And
So-
it's unlikely someone's gonna buy his house and do the same thing.
So our decision
Yeah,
will
I
have,
just wanted-
yeah, our
That's a good
decision, you know, if we granted the special, well, first, there's limits in the zoning ordinance about home occupations. And there are a lot of things that are specifically prohibited. Interestingly, a bar is not one of them, but there's no way they'd be able to open a bar. I'm like, the list of things that are prohibited, I think, are all because of things that have happened in the past. But
What
more
type of
importantly,
things
there's,
are prohibited.
what?
How would we find out what kind of things are?
Oh, so the zoning ordinance is on the website of the city.
Okay.
But more importantly, what it really is there's like a set of sort of categories of things that can be permitted, and then the list of prohibited things is sort of like the suspenders to the belt. Just because it's not on the list doesn't mean it's allowed. It's only allowed if it's up here. The list is to explain these things don't fall under what's up here. And a bar so obviously wouldn't fall under what's up here. It has not been included in the list of prohibited uses. The list of prohibited uses is more things that there has been some concern in the past the ZBA would think are included up here, and there's been a desire to make it very clear that they are not included up there.
Certain things that would be permitted as a home occupation are things like computer programming, desktop publishing, typing or secretarial services, sculpting, writing, dressmaking, basically things that would not impact the residential neighborhoods. you know, and this sort of fits into that category. When he's driving his own car, he'll have his office in his house.
Yeah.
Basically, if he didn't have a logo on his car, you wouldn't know he was running a business because he's not even going to put a sign out front. And those are the kind of home occupations that are allowed.
So do you have to get a permit for all of those? different
Yes.
occupations?
You're supposed to,
You're
yeah. Like
supposed to.
if you're a lawyer, practicing out of your home, you're supposed to get a special permit. If you're an accountant practicing out of a home office, you're supposed to get a special permit.
Even on computer use? I mean,
If you're
for a
running your
business?
business,
If you're running
as
a
opposed, like
business.
if you're an employee and you telecommute, that would be different. But if you are running your own business, you're supposed to get a special permit. East Hampton is a little bit more restrictive than some other towns in this respect. Some other places have like categories where you don't need a special permit. We require a special permit for any operation of a home business. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm Lee Sanderson, 34 Phillips Street. I think our main concern was parking on the street because of limited access. If you got cars parked on both sides of the street, it's basically one-lane traffic and
Well,
cars
that's every
zipping
day
up
over
and
there.
down the
And
street.
that
I've
could
moved
work.
around there, they all park on the streets there. It's
Well,
crazy.
they do, but that's it, we didn't want more vehicles
No.
inside.
Yeah, it's a
And in the
permanent type
winter
thing.
time,
Yeah, no, I know.
in the winter time when the snow is piled up, it's
Yeah.
even worse. So it's mainly, you know, our concern was the parking on the street. Other than that, we're behind you all the way.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thanks.
All right, shall we close the public part of the hearing and do our deliberation?
Did you have any more
No.
questions? You're fine. Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we've got our standard special permit criteria for approval and then our additional requirements. So let's do the additional requirements first because that one's easier. So we've got an owner-operator who resides in the dwelling unit from which the business will operate. No more than, it says no more than one non-resident shall be employed therein. I think if we put a condition in your permit that should your business have employees, the vehicles are to be kept off the premises.
Sure.
So we'll do that. We'll limit it to one business vehicle to be kept on the premises. It's probably the easiest way to do it. So the use of the property will be carried on just inside when you're like on the computer. You won't be, like banging on things outside.
Yeah, the office stuff.
Yeah, getting in your car and driving away.
Yeah.
There's a criteria about how much of your space you'll be using, but it sounds like you'll be either using your vehicle, which leaves, or you'll be like sitting on your couch at your computer, not having like, this is more about, like if you're trying to have like a doctor's office, they don't want your doctor's office to like be
Take up
all of the floor space, like a huge
Right.
thing in a small house. So that's not an issue. You won't have a sign that's visible on the premises. Like there might be a sign in your vehicle, but we're not concerned about that.
Right.
No advertising on the premises. Not that you're not allowed to. All right, and you're not going to be. This criteria is changes to the exterior appearance of the dwelling or emissions of like odors or gas or smoke or noise or electrical disturbance or other nuisances. I don't see that being a thing here, so. And there's not going to be any changes to the building. And you're not going to be selling any products, so we don't have to worry about that one. And you will be storing your vehicle off-street in your to be parked in driveway or garage. All right. So those are our 10.4 characteristics. And then we go to the 12.7.9 special permit criteria, which are almost always not applicable when we're doing these ones. All right, so we don't have any issues with other laws, which is A. B has to do with the protection of city amenities. Given the lack of any sort of change to the site, I think that's not relevant. The increase in traffic here, I think we've established, is very minimal, so there's not going to be a problem with traffic or safety impacts. There's also, this permit raises no issues with respect to the disposal of sewage or refuse or drainage, which means that we don't have to worry about wetlands. And there is not going to be an impact on the city's resources because it's just not applicable. And we have G has to do with several things, including off-street parking. So that is covered because there's only going to be one vehicle and it can be parked in the garage or the driveway. And there's not going to be any changes to structures or anything like that. So H is not applicable, nor is I, nor is J, nor is K. And L, which is the last one, has to do with nuisance from air or water pollution, excessive noise, or visually flagrant structures and accessories. I would say that's also not applicable. So that's all of the 12, 7, 9 features. So I move that we approve a special permit for 28 Phelps Street to allow for the operation of a transportation business contracting with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, allowing for the storage of up to one business vehicle to be parked in the driveway or in the garage.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Rob, thank you for
Coming in.
and for dealing with our rescheduling. And thank you all for also dealing with rescheduling. So we will get a decision out soon, and once it's filed with the clerk, the city clerk, there's a 20-day appeal period. Once the 20-day appeal period has ended, you'll
File it at the Registry of Deeds, and once it's filed at the Registry of Deeds, it's binding with the land, and that is your special permit.
Then I can acquire the business certificate?
When you go to, so when the appeal period ends, the city clerk will send you a notice in the mail, the appeal period's ended,
Okay.
and that either no appeals have come in or appeals have come in. And
Who's going to appeal?
What's that?
Who's going to appeal? No, don't get them nervous.
No one's going to. So then you'll get a copy, you'll get a certified letter from the clerk saying that no appeals came in and that you have to file with the Registry of Deeds. You can then go to the city clerk. You don't need to show her proof of that it was filed in order to get your business certificate.
Okay.
Once you have the special permit, you can get the business certificate. If it's filed at the registry, it becomes binding with the land, and it runs with, so if you sell, it's sort of.
So another 20 days, 30 days, another month.
Another month till it's all.
Getting there.
You may be able to get yours, you may be able to get the business certificate from the city clerk with just the vote of the zoning board of appeals. Any sort of, anything you do in that appeal period before the appeal runs out is sort of at your own risk.
But
So-
since you're not really taking much risk,
we're not
probably,
gonna do
like you're not going to be building like a house in that time.
Investing any money or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, if he, in 2 days, when you have a written result of this meeting, and if he goes into the city clerk's office and she calls down here, he might be able to get a business license then.
He may be able to.
Maybe that's between you and the city clerk.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
It could just be in a day or two, but that, yeah,
Give it a shot.
yeah.
Yeah, might as well try.
Okay.
All right, so the only other things on our agenda are administrative items, which we
Thank you
already
very
did.
much for
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, thank you guys for your
Yeah.
civic engagement.
Good luck with you.
Thank you very much.
And
Thanks a lot.
So
Yeah, the neighbors are
I
good nice. We're worried
have
about me
decided,
parking
my
stuff on
appointment
as
is
well,
up in
if you wanna
September,
stop by.
and I've decided not to take
Tractor trailers or
reappointment.
something.
So September will be my last meeting
Thank
with the
you. Thanks a
ZBA.
lot.
I am trying to recruit somebody to join the ZBA. We'll see if I'm successful. But I will know by September. And so yeah, so just to let everybody know.
That's September will be your last meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I looked at my email and tried to find the exact date when my appointment is up, and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if there's some better way to look and find out, but 3 years ago I had like a little baby and I wasn't really paying attention to a whole lot. I didn't do a good job.
Sorry.
Typically, the appointments expire December of the year. So
Oh.
you were, I don't know,
Like 3 years, but not really 3 years.
so it might be like 2 years and 6 months, or maybe it's 3 years and 6 months. I'm not really sure how that works. But
Okay.
they send out the like, if you want to re-up for another 3 years, those letters go out in December.
Okay. So they just assume like if you start any time in the year that you're going through December. Well, then I guess I could continue through December.
So it's you.
Okay.
Well, would city clerk and Barbara have that on record?
Oh, probably. I should give her a call. I just had assumed it would be from the time. Like I wasn't sure whether I like started. I couldn't tell from the email whether I started in September or started in October. Was really the question.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not from when you started. I'll give her a call tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought it was
It's up to you. You can resign in after 2 weeks.
Yes, if you have a
I mean, I don't
replacement,
need to. But yeah, if I can get Jared to sign on, we can tag on. So yeah.
sorry to see you. I have a question. Again, home occupations. This is another innocuous home occupations. I think all the ones we've acted on have been totally innocuous, even though I have a landscaper on Duty Avenue that drives me nuts. There is, whenever I go and visit my brother, there's an auto detailing business on Admiral Street, and sometimes, that's a very, very narrow street.
That's actually like a pre-existing non-conforming.
Oh, that is?
Yeah.
Okay. And like the
That one.
okay. And the dog groomer down the street on Holyoke Street. I mean, there seems to be like people set up businesses that I think have an impact on the neighborhood, and they're there, and then we make gentlemen like this jump through hoops. It just doesn't seem fair. That's all.
Our zoning ordinance desperately needs to be rewritten, and if there comes
We
a
need some
movement afoot to do
enforcement
that,
of what's out there.
Right, so I mean, I think you could force the issue with any business that particularly bothers you by calling the business, the business inspector, the building inspector. I mean, that's what brought those other folks here.
Just asking why are they operating as a business when?
Yeah, like,
Do they have a
do they have a permit?
Do they have a special permit?
Well, I know the one on Duty Avenue does not, because they haven't come before us, and that was built after I got on the board.
Yeah, that's what happened to the lawnmower guy on West Street.
Right, well, that's what I was saying. It's like, clearly, you can shut people down.
But the building official gave this person a building permit.
Well, so the duty ad with the garage that you've been talking about for a while, that complies with the zoning ordinance.
Right, the
So-
structure
But there's a
isn't the
business-
problem.
Right, but
Right, but
there's
you
a
can't, but you
business-
can't not give a permit for a conforming structure because you're concerned about the use.
Right, but now it is a zoning violation, because there's a business in there that's not.
Right, but the violation is the business, not the building.
Well, I would argue that that's not a residential garage in the regulations. That's just a pet peeve of mine, because I go by it all the time.
Right.
Right, but I mean, it is an issue where
Oh, yeah.
these things
Shall we adjourn?
need enforcement and,
Yeah.
you know.
Adjourn?
Adjourn.